Full of frustration, full of despair. Two British football fans have had enough. The MLS UK Show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the MLS UK Show. I'm Henry Hewitt, and as always, I'm joined by
Elliot Holman. What a first week of MLS.
I know. What a week. So much drama, so much to talk about. But first, we need to say it. You all expected her here today. She's not here. But Poppy's Kit Reviews will definitely be here next week. That isn't going to become a thing throughout the season. It's not a joke. It's just we're both parents now, and we're having to find time to actually record it, and we just haven't found time. She's been a bit ill. I've been a bit ill. Arthur's been a bit ill. It just hasn't worked. Anyway, we will record it this weekend, and you will hear it on the next episode of the MLS UK Show, Poppy's Kit Reviews. Just need to say that.
Does she not want to get paid? Like, what's wrong? Like, obviously we do pay handsomely, right?
Yes, I pay. It goes into our joint account. And it goes along with the other money I put in for all of our bills and mortgage and stuff. So she does get paid, but it's from me to me.
Yeah, like all of the Valentine's gifts I got my wife. From me to me.
I won't ask. Right, well, let's talk then about last weekend in MLS. First weekend of the MLS season. Lots to talk about, lots of drama. It all kicked off in LA, but before we talk about LAFC, I want to talk about the real stars of the first weekend, and that's San Diego. They went to LA. They won 2-0 against the Galaxy. Reigning champs Galaxy. The Galaxy team who were celebrating. It was a celebration of winning their 6th MLS Cup. San Diego came, spoilt the party. Elliot, what a performance this was.
Yeah, and we kind of said it, didn't we, in the episode before? We said, remember when St. Louis turned up and no one really knew any of their players and they didn't have loads of MLS experience, and we were like, oh, they're in trouble. And then they stormed it. I don't think I expected San Diego to beat the MLS Cup champions and the most successful side in MLS history. However, they've done it, and I don't think I was maybe as surprised as I would have been a few years ago, put it that way, because St. Louis have kind of paved the way. But yeah, welcome to MLS San Diego.
Yeah, well, we said on my last episode, on our MLS preview episode, which thanks if you watched that or listened to that, check it out if you haven't. We said San Diego, just don't expect too much. Just enjoy yourselves. First season of MLS, inaugural season. Just don't have too much pressure on it. Just go around it, try and work yourselves out, and then go and attack next season. Well, they attacked in the first game, so they've got a lot to live up to now for the rest of the season. But they look great going forward. A lot of eyes are on Chucky Lorenzo, and instead it was Andreas Dreyer, who got the first 2 goals of San Diego's time in MLS. Great finishes as well, weren't they? But I mean, the first one, they were helped out a bit by LA Galaxy, but great finishes.
Great finishes, and it makes me excited because I think, do you remember when Atlanta came into the league and they were really exciting to watch and they were getting some fantastic results? Sure, it wasn't a completely polished performance, but you beat LA Galaxy, you're going to be pretty chuffed with that. You're going to be happy with that. So I kind of get a bit of an Atlanta vibe. Like, do we get really excited about this San Diego side? Is it far too soon? We're only week 2 this week. Excited to see how they get on, and I think this could be a very exciting season for San Diego, even if they haven't got that out and out talent, but they're just riding a wave. Literally, San Diego wave. Like, they're just riding it, and it's going to bring them results regardless, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. LA Galaxy looks like they definitely missed, Ricky Puig, Pansel as well. They just didn't quite click. So I guess we'll have to see in the next few weeks whether they can pick up some points before Pansel comes back, which did we say last week it was about April time that he's due back?
April, yeah.
Well, so quite a while actually till April. It's at least 6 weeks. So hopefully Galaxy can pick up some wins and not be cut adrift. But it's MLS, and half the league make the playoffs. So even if you do lose all those games, they're still not out of it. Right, let's move on then let's go to LAFC. They kicked off MLS 2025 with a 1-0 win over Minnesota. We said last week, Abobasi could be a real great player, sort of a squad player, probably the best squad striker player, if that makes sense, that anyone's brought in. Basically a non-starter who's going to play a lot of the time. Anyway, he scored on his debut. He weren't the only person to score on his debut either. There were quite a few, weren't there?
There were quite a few. I have a feeling you're going to want to talk about that in a little more depth, which I'm annoyed about. However, Ebobisi, to be fair, fantastic goal to open up MLS in 2025. And I enjoyed that game. I tell you what, though, my problem with that game, I was a real MLS noob. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to me. But my mum was staying with us and my wife was out, and I said, I'm sorry. I said, but you know I love MLS. It starts tonight. And she was like, yeah, well, stick it on. I said, it's at 9:30. So we watched something 8 till 9. And then I put the game build up on from 9. And we sat there. And we sat there. And we sat there. And at 9:35, they were showing clips of them only getting off the coach. And I was like, that better be pre-recorded. They're only just turning up. I forgot. How? How many years have we been doing this? I forgot that MLS just out and out lie to you about the kickoff time. But we got there eventually, and it was a really good watch. Although my mum went to bed at half time, it was 0-0, and she was like, I'd probably just leave it there.
Thankfully there were a goal in the second half. Minnesota did all right. I think I'm looking forward to watching Minnesota this year, seeing how they do. I think the West can be a bit open. I think maybe under LAFC, maybe under Seattle. I think it's quite open after them. So Minnesota will be looking to get themselves quite high up in the playoffs, and I think with Eric Ramsey they can do. I tell you what, let's stick in California then. Let's do the California 3. San Jose Earthquakes, what a win for them. 4-0. Bruce Arena's come in. He's already notched up another win to his impressive win total as an MLS coach. Remember, he is the most winniest. Is it the most winniest? They have a word for it, don't they? The most
winningest.
The MLS coach ever. And to consider that they've signed Arango and Martinez, they scored 4 goals. They didn't score any of them. They're really sharing the goals about.
Top of the league as well. San Jose, top of the league. Conceded the most goals in MLS last season, and then a 4-0 win to open up the brand new season. How excited do we get? That's my question. If you're listening and you're a San Jose fan, maybe you were at the game, maybe you got to see this in a little more depth than we did. How different are San Jose this season? They're one team that you definitely want to be looking at this week. You want to be watching that San Jose game, looking at how they're going to build on this incredible foundation. I'm excited. I love it when we see teams, we say it, we're waiting for Chicago to be good. Again, they weren't. But San Jose, it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. Could this be the year?
Yeah, I'm talking about going to the match and seeing it up close. One little boy, very close, as he ran onto the pitch after the second goal. Rodriguez was then, he scored, and during his celebration took him back to his dad, the child, which I think that child goes up there with the, what was it? What was it that went on the pitch for Philadelphia? A raccoon. Was it a raccoon last year? Yeah. So that kid joins the raccoon of weird things to enter an MLS pitch. But when you looked at the goals and when they were scored, I think what really shined to me is that the San Jose crowd, they looked pumped. There was an energy. There was an energy in the team as well. I think at San Jose this season, a lot of people are seeing it as a fresh start. Just something completely new. They've got a head coach they can trust. They've got players like, Arango coming in. What a signing that is. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued about San Jose this season. I think they will do a lot better than what they've done previously. And they could be dark horses to go far in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Who are we talking about next? Where are we going next?
I think we've got to go to Atlanta and Orlando. You know, we obviously we support Atlanta and Orlando. Me as an Atlanta fan, I want to be fair. We will talk about Orlando as well.
Good.
It just happens that one of us won our first game and the other didn't. But something that does link us together is our new star strikers both scored 2 goals.
Yeah, and Atlanta, of course, £22 million from Middlesbrough, getting themselves a striker who rose like a salmon. You got to be a happy man, right?
Yeah, we said it was going to be fun at home at the Benz this season. And I think this game probably summed up what we expect from Atlanta. Defensively, not great. Conceded 2 goals, but won the game 3-2. And Latte Laugh got his 2 goals. Miggy Almiron was back. Great. Was it the second or third goal? The Mosquera goal. 3-2, yes, of course. Yeah, great. It was brilliant to watch and it was exciting. It's just the Atlanta of old. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do away. I don't think they'll do as well away, to be honest, but I think the home games are going to be, if you are new to MLS, if you see Atlanta playing at home, I would probably pick that game to watch because there is going to be goals this season.
My only little flutter on MLS last weekend was there to be goals in Atlanta, so I was a very happy boy. Meanwhile, Pasalic arrived in Orlando, scored 2 on his debut. First goal was in the 8th minute. Fantastic start. However, Orlando, as we mentioned on the pod last week, they look lightweight. That's not a Janssen injured in the warm-up. Schlegel, not really a starter for me. And yet he was the stronger of the defenders. Made a mistake, gave a goal away. Orlando needs they need some investment in that back line, 100%. They need to give them a hand back there. Fantastic goalkeeper in Jalese, but it's not enough. Orlando need to be a lot deeper depth-wise on their roster. Otherwise, it's a write-off this season. Philly were not even expecting to be a great team this year, so to lose 4-2 at home, disappointing. So there's work to be done big time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give Philly credit. The finishes for the goals were great finishes. I thought the second one as well, the way that from the cross he managed to reach and Gazdag, got it in from that tight angle. I thought that was great. But yeah, the others were gifts really from Orlando, and I think, I know we said, about match day 1, it's great that Atlanta won and obviously Orlando haven't, but you can't judge too much from it. But I think what I do worry about Orlando is this could become a regular thing unless they make some signings in defence. I just feel from the outside, you've probably got to the point where you've had, I mean, we look at Schlegel, but you've had the defence for a while and it's done all right, but it just seems to have been, sometimes you need to make a move at the right time, and it just feels that Orlando have just not done that and let it fester, really.
Yeah, did a season without Antonio Carlos. I think we all know Antonio Carlos and Janssen together was a really fantastic combo. I don't feel like they've replaced Antonio Carlos. And now it's looking like we need some backup for Janssen as well. So, yeah, Orlando have got work to do, and I don't really know how much they're actually going to do, which is concerning, but we'll see. We go again at the weekend.
Another team who'll be looking to go again at the weekend is Portland. Sick of playing Vancouver if you're a Portland fan. 4-1 this time. Managed to keep the goals to less than 5 this time after they lost to Vancouver in the playoff elimination last year. But the season started horrifically, didn't it? With Kamal Miller, friend of the show, but Kamal Miller getting sent off after 11 minutes. Yeah, it's just not going right, is it, for Phil Neville and Portland at the moment? Or well, I say at the moment, it's only after game 1, but I think it sums up things at the moment for him.
Do you know what I found interesting? One thing that I noticed watching that game live. So Kamal Miller gets sent off, and before play restarts, the goalkeeper goes down, Portland keeper goes down, and it's clearly tactical. It's so that Neville's got time to assess the situation, to work out what he's going to do, any changes he needs to make. Just settle things down, buy them a little bit of time. I think that was fairly obvious, certain angles of it as well. Like, he wasn't injured at all. He was just getting some time. Neville had that time, and he had the conversation with his coaches, and they decided they weren't going to do anything. They didn't make any changes, and then they were 2-0 down. He waited 20 minutes, and they were 2-0 down. And at that point, I mean, what are you doing? You don't stand a chance against a good Vancouver side at 2-0 down when you've got 10 men. So disappointing for me from Phil Neville.
Yeah, one thing I'm sure he did say to his defence was keep it tight. And then when the goalkeeper basically passes it to Vancouver for the first goal, didn't quite go to plan. I've got to talk about Jayden Nelson, though. What a match this guy had, and his pace as well for that third goal, which I would have shot, and he passed it, and he got an assist, his third assist of the game, then obviously scored the fourth one. He could be a big talent, couldn't he? He's already shown signs. If he can, especially on a big open pitch, which BC Place is, he could be a real star, couldn't he, this year?
Yeah, starting a brand new MLS season with 3 assists and a goal, you're feeling pretty good about the next game and the season ahead. So all eyes are going to be on him now. And again, you look at San Jose did really well. In the West, San Jose, Vancouver, they are the teams to watch this weekend to see just how strong they're going to be. Is Nelson going to be a player that we really think is going to be an MVP candidate? Is he going to rival the likes of Benteke and Messi for goals? Is he going to be an Evander rival for assists? So many questions, and I can't wait to see if we can answer some this weekend.
So let's run through a few of the other games then. FC Cincinnati got off to a winning start, beating Red Bulls 1-0. Kevin Denke got his goal. A lot of pressure on him this season. Was the MLS record transfer until Latte left, signed for Atlanta, but he got a goal. Very brave, getting a goal as well. Header, when a lot of other players would have just ducked away from it. Cincinnati will be glad to get off to a winning start. Elliot mentioned before, Chicago, carried on their form, which we've seen for the last few years. I think with Berhalter in charge, we said last week you kind of expect a bit more from them, but something that they need to address, and I know they've got a young team, but I mean, so Brian Gutierrez got Chicago's opening 2 goals. They ended up losing 4-2. Got the 2 goals, but to equalise twice, I think Columbus did. The goals were gifts, absolute gifts from Chicago. And it's just seemed that Chicago had to really work hard. They took the goals really well, had to really work hard for theirs. And then they just waste it with 2 goals. And then Rossi before halftime made it 3-2 as well. They can't be doing that. If they're going to be improving and trying to get into the playoffs, which is a long shot anyway, we're trying to get into the playoffs, they can't be just giving away goals like they did on Saturday night.
Well, Berhalter will take some positives. They tried to play the right way. They tried to play out the back. They were having some successful passages of play. Really easy to say. But yeah, masters of their own downfall again. So try to take the positives and move on to this week. But after 10 games, if Chicago have only picked up 2 or 3 wins and are struggling, no one's going to raise any eyebrows, unfortunately.
Seattle 2, Charlotte 2. Seattle's Jordan Morris became the joint leading scorer ever for Seattle. I think he's got 86 with Raul Ruidiaz. Took his goals really well. Different kinds of finishes, but strikers finishes. So Seattle will be hoping he can build on that. Morris has got over 10 goals. I think 14 and 13 in the last 2 years. So he's on course already to get over 10 goals again. Charlotte equalised in the last minute through an own goal. Now, somebody commented actually on our YouTube saying that they were disappointed at the lack of coverage we gave Charlotte last week. We did say that, I know it's a preview episode, but we can't talk about everyone in full depth because, we'd be here all day. We'd still be here now doing it. But what I do want to point out, and what I want to ask you, Dean Smith actually said that we didn't deserve a point in that game. It's a good habit to have, isn't it, when you don't deserve it but still manage to get at least a point on the board?
Yeah, I watched this game. It It was so late by that point. No wonder I couldn't stay awake for Sunday night soccer. I was still awake at 6 a.m. watching Seattle Charlotte. But yeah, for me, I mean, much has been said about Nuhu on this podcast over the years, but it was a gift. It ultimately, Dean Smith is right, but that's the sort of assessment you want from your coach, right? You went to Seattle, difficult place to go. You got a point. You didn't deserve it. Okay, well, great start then, really, isn't it? You know, and I think it's important to recognise they can now go and play a couple of home games in the next few weeks and take the game to teams and hopefully, you know, pick up 3 points, 6 points and start to really roll their season on. You know, yes, it was an own goal, but if they'd have lost 2-1, is that a terrible result? I don't think so. So little bonus point and they move. And yeah, I'm interested to see what else Charlotte have got in their locker when we see them performing at home, especially when they have Zaha as well.
Yes, I can't wait to see Zaha play because, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him. He kind of, I think he thrives under the pressure, to be honest, Wilfried Zaha. But yeah, Charlotte are really pinning a few of their hopes on him to play well and get them up the table this year. Right, elsewhere, DC United drew 2-2 to Toronto. Benteke got a goal, last year's Golden Boot winner, started off well. Austin beat Sporting KC 1-0. Osman Bukhari got the goal, along with Brendan Vazquez, who hit the bar, actually. So, again, a lot of people expecting a lot of things from that attacking line of Austin. They could be dangerous. FC Dallas won at Houston. And we had then 2 games that ended 0-0. And we don't like this. We have in the past booed teams that have got a 0-0 because we came to MLS from the English leagues not for 0-0s. We came for attacking football. We came for entertainment, not 0-0. So, Elliot, can I have, in a moment, for Nashville, New England Revolution, St. Louis and Colorado, a big boo, please?
Boo! Not why we got into MLS. That's not why we're here. 2 0-0s. We had so many goals. And it's actually the most goals there's ever been on an opening weekend in MLS. But still 2 0-0s. That's not acceptable. And that's your first warning.
In defence of Nashville in particular, actually, but also New England Revolution and St. Louis, they all had offside goals. New England Revolution was definitely offside. St. Louis, debatable. No debate for me about Nashville's. That's definitely should have stood. So we will acknowledge that, but still, the game ended 0-0. So boo. Right, as you noticed, we haven't mentioned Inter Miami. They drew 2-2 against New York City FC. And the reason for that is because now we're going to have a look at some MLS news, and Inter Miami feature quite a lot.
The MLS UK Show.
Right, so now it's time to look at the big MLS news stories of the week so far, and Inter Miami feature quite a lot in them. I've got to say, though, what did you make of New York City FC's was it their opening goal, I think, where the guy does the Ronaldo celebration, the Sui celebration? You're a big Messi fan, aren't you? What did you make of that?
Yeah, well, I was until he signed for Miami. Yeah, I love it. I think that if some players are really honest, I think it's because that's the celebration they're doing in their back garden. That's the go-to. That's the one when there's such an outpouring of emotion, your body just defaults to Sue. So yeah, the fact that Messi was on field for that, hilarious. And that wasn't the only thing that went down in that game. Let's be honest.
Yes, you're right. I mean, I will say as well, just a note on Ilinec's goal. He did come out afterwards and say, yes, I did mean... You know, some footballers would go, oh, no, it's just a coincidence. He came out and said, oh, yeah, I'm a big Ronaldo fan. I wanted to do it in front of Messi, which that's false. I'll give him that. But yeah, Leo Messi has been fined. So has Luis Suarez, actually, but this has gone under the radar a little bit. But Messi has been fined for grabbing... Mehdi Bellucci, I think you pronounce it, the NYCFC assistant coach, is the back of his neck. So Messi was annoyed, wasn't he? We're seeing Messi in MLS. There's just these little peeks behind the curtain with him that he does have a temper on him, doesn't he?
Little flashes, isn't there? And that's in a way, it's encouraging because this matters to him still. Messi is in MLS and he's not here for a holiday or for a payday. This matters, and he wants to win. So yeah, interesting that to be fair to the NYCFC bench, it's the closest anyone's got to Messi without his bodyguard getting involved for a long time. So fair play, but yeah. Interesting that the league haven't disclosed how much the fine was. The man is on such an incredible amount of money. I imagine they haven't disclosed it because it's probably a very feeble amount in comparison to his salary. But good to see that he's being treated the same as anybody else would. And Suarez was fined as well.
Yes, it was the hands to the face, head, neck of an opponent policy, which they breached. That's a new one. I tell you what, it won't surprise me. The NYCFC assistant coach got Messi to sign his neck or didn't wash it or anything, which leads us on to our next story, actually. Did you see this? Marco Antonio Oritz Nava, he was refereeing the Miami SKC first leg of their Champions League match in SKC. He's been banned for 6 months from refereeing CONCACAF games because he asked Leo Messi at the end of the game for his autograph. Unbelievable.
It's so funny. Part of me is like, that is funny, and why has he done that? But then part of me just thinks, well, I don't know, why not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You refereed Messi, and you won his autograph. My dad refereed Martin Peters once, and he's not shut up about it since. So if he'd refereed Messi, I can only imagine.
England World Cup winning Martin Peters, for anyone who doesn't know or remember who he was. Yeah, to be fair, it's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity for this guy, isn't it? And he may go through the rest of his life regretting not doing it. So he's done it. He's 6 months? It's at the end of the day, he'll be back refereeing, and maybe next year he'll get to do Messi again. I think what you need to do though is you make sure that you book Messi or something, so there's a photo of it, and then in years to come, try and find Leo Messi. And get him to sign it, maybe. But lessons learned for other referees. Right, elsewhere, obviously I just mentioned the Champions League there. There were lots of games, lots of MLS teams making it through to the next stage. LAFC knocked out Colorado. Who else? Seattle are through. They beat Antigua. Real Salt Lake are out. Inter Miami won the second leg as well against SKC, so they're through. And Cincinnati are through as well. They're playing Tigres, the famous Tigres, who has been they've knocked out a few MLS teams, haven't they, in over the years in this
Orlando.
competition. So, famously on the MLS UK show anyway. So hopefully Cincinnati can go and knock them out. LAFC play Columbus, so we're guaranteed an MLS team in the quarterfinals. LA Galaxy are in there as well. Seattle play Cruz Azul, another team who have knocked out a few MLS teams over the years.
Yeah, too much Mexican dominance in Champions League. So let's hope this is the year. So come on, Cincinnati, and come on, MLS. Let's turn this around. Let's get back on top.
Exactly. And the last news story this week is Atlanta United had the third highest attendance in the whole world at the weekend. Only Borussia Dortmund of Germany and Inter Milan, almost said Inter Miami there, Inter Milan of Italy had higher attendances. So well done to Atlanta. So there is your news stories of this week. Now, Elliot, it's time to play for the first time this season a brand new game.
It is. It's a brand new game, and this is to welcome San Diego to the league. And I know what you're thinking, Henry. You're probably, no, I don't know if my geography's up to it. What do I know about San Diego? Doesn't matter. You don't need to know anything about San Diego. This game is called Anchorman.
Cannonball!
Right, yeah. I get the reference.
All you need to do is read the words I have placed in front of you, and you read them until they start to make sense. So it's like reading an auto cue. I just read what's put in front of me. You just read it and you see if you can work out what they're actually trying to say. Normal words that when you put them all together will make a sentence.
I guess I could put in the edit sort of a news sort of, as if I'm, I am Ron Burgundy, so like a news sort of TV theme, and then I'll come out of it and I will read what you've just sent me on a message.
Yeah.
Froob all Pelé sim into purse itching. Verlags chukul handball lagging.
So concentrate on the first one first. So the first line first. So they're two separate phrases. So we've got the word froob, all.
Froob all Pelé. Froob all Pelé. Sim into purse itching. I have no idea what that means.
When you know what it is, it's really funny because you're basically saying it. So the idea is the more you say it, the more you'll be able to work it out.
Sim itching into Froob.
Yeah.
Pelé sim. Pelé sim.
Yeah.
Froob Pelé sim into purse itching. Into purse itching.
So it's through ball.
Through ball
Plays. What's the last bit?
Sim into perchin itching. Sim into perch. I'm not even saying it right. Sim into purse itch. Into purse itching.
Yeah.
Right. Through ball. Plays in.
Yeah.
So through ball plays in into purse itching. Into purse itch in.
Into position.
Into position. And the next one, oh my god. Furlags.
So it's fur, lags, tuchel, ham, bore, lag, in.
Furlags, flags, tuchel, ham, flags, tuchel, ham, bore, flags, tuchel, ham, bore, lag, in. Not a clue.
Say the last four words together quickly.
Handball lagging.
Yeah, handball again.
So flags, tuchel, handball again.
Yeah, so there's flags to call, handball again. Two commentary phrases that Henry's decoded. That's based on a card game that's out at the minute that I keep getting served on my Instagram, where you have to say just like individual words, but they actually mean something else.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be buying that game, Elliot. That was absolutely atrocious. I don't know if it was me or whether it was the game, but that was atrocious. And that is what you get here on the MLS UK show. We will do 20 odd minutes of MLS chat in our own way, and then we will throw one of Elliot's games at you, which could be great. It could not be. Let's see what we've got next week.
The worst bit is that's the bit that's going to go viral online. No one cares about my takes about San Jose and Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see what the next game can bring up. But I guess let's go to the next games to round off this episode very quickly in MLS, and that is this weekend's action. Is there any sort of teams you're looking at this weekend, Elliot? Who are you looking at for match day 2? Who wants to build on or get some form back after match day 1?
Yeah, Chicago, big weekend for Chicago. Same with Orlando. Both need to really bounce back from basically, for different reasons, Chicago, we want to see them not fall into the same trap as they always do. Orlando just looked a shadow of their former self, so they will want to bounce back. And then, as mentioned, San Jose, top of the league at the minute. Can they carry that on under Bruce Arena? LA Galaxy need to bounce back in a big way after quite a high-profile defeat after winning MLS Cup. There's a lot to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah, I think there is. My boys Atlanta kicking the weekend off against Charlotte. 7:15 here in the UK. I like these sort of earlier Saturday evening, but I guess afternoon in the US matches. But yeah, Toronto at home. You should beat Toronto. I think you'll be fine. You get it to winning ways. He
Should have
says.
beaten Philly, but who knows?
But other than that, I think I think the LA Galaxy need to need to win. I think San Diego, can they follow it up? First game at the Snapdragon Stadium as well for them, so that should be good atmosphere. But yeah, I'm looking at the teams that need to build, well, not necessarily build, just create something. Portland at home to Austin is one of those as well. Very disappointing first game. SKC against San Jose at home, which is going to be a difficult game, but SKC have really got to start showing something after a few negative years for them. So, should be exciting this weekend. Another exciting weekend of action. I'm going to say the game of the weekend will be, I want to say Charlotte, Atlanta, but Philly v Cincinnati. That'll be the game of the weekend. Yeah,
that's a great shout. Cincinnati, again, one of those teams that you're thinking, okay, well, they've been pretty good the last few years, so let's see how they get on. I love these early stages of MLS, and we get to really see who's done what, which signings have really paid off. And so far, 22 million for Latilath. I don't think we can say it's a steal, but it might be money well spent.
Well, we'll wait and see. But that's it for this episode of the MLS UK show. Remember, Poppy will be back next time with her kit reviews. But if you have enjoyed this episode and you're listening on your podcast provider, then leave us a rating, leave us a review. But if you are going to leave us a rating, Elliot, there's one rule and one rule only.
Yeah, you gotta whack it up to 5 stars so quick it goes to 6. LA Galaxy style.
Still clinging on to that. And if you watch it on YouTube, please then subscribe to the channel, like this video, click the notification bell. It is much appreciated. Leave a comment as well. Got quite a few comments on the last one. We asked you to say who are you supporting this year. So a lot of comments, a lot of varied sort of teams as well. So it's nice to see that even though we do talk a lot about Orlando and Atlanta because we support them, a lot of people who just like MLS or support different teams are watching our stuff, so that's very nice to see. Right, we'll be back next time, but until then, I've been Henry Hewitt.
And I've been Elliot Holman.
See ya.